Tashi.
And my name is Kausar Sultana.
And
we are the Revive Collective. So, going ahead with our series, The Deep Dive with the Revive, where we're talking about difficult emotions. This series is on grief. And this episode, we're going to be talking about grieving of a relationship breakup or ending a relationship. Okay? So, whether the end is a planned one, mutually agreed upon, or if it's an unplanned one, either way, a separation is painful.
What happens is when a relationship ends, you need to grieve it as much as you would actually grieve when someone in your life has died. Because remember, in a relationship, there are two people involved. And if the relationship has broken, those two people have separated. That separation pain is as bad or as painful rather as separation by death of a partner. Now, you need to, through grieving, disengage yourself from this pain and also try and move on with your life without holding on to the past, so that all those wounds of the past get healed and you can take your life forward, because that's healthy for you, for the person concerned along with you in that relationship, and also if there are other family members or other close people involved in that relationship as well. So it's a healthy move on for all of them.
Yeah. So, if, in a relationship, if you are the one who has walked away, or if you're the one who's left behind, either way, or for both, grieving is a process that is necessary. And that is what we would like to highlight in this episode for you. To understand, to make it easier for you to understand the different emotions that come up, why, again, grief is something that you may end up overlooking. How does that happen? Okay, let's say, for example, whether you've walked away or someone has been left behind. Either of these individuals of the relationship that ended, you get so focused or involved in wanting to move on. Okay, so the whole attention comes onto that. Okay, and what's been left behind literally stays unaddressed, left behind.
So, also what happens, Kausar, is that when a relationship ends, you hit a point when there is this rude realization that, okay, now what? Where do I go from here? So, if you have signed a document, Kausar, let's say in your case, if we may talk about it, right? When you signed a document to separate from your partner, then what does that do to you? Whether you are the one who's chosen to sign that document and move out of that relationship or the other person did it, it doesn't matter. That is, irrelevant here. But how does that feeling come into play? How do you deal with that aspect of grieving, or do you not grieve at all?
Yeah. So, in my case, I am a divorcee. Signing of the document, okay, the divorce papers, or the exit from a particular home that I was in, was not the indicator for me that the relationship is over. When you're in a relationship, both of you, most often, or even one, gets to know that the relationship is ending or has ended way before the signing actually happens. Right? It's way before.
True.
And what happens there is when the partners, or when the couple, or even one, realizes that what they had is ending or has ended, pause here for a moment. That is exactly what we're trying to highlight for you, the grieving part over there. Okay? You may have chosen to separate, move on, go ahead, come up with, go ahead in life with another partner or stay single, or you may choose to stay together, work on the relationship, right, for family reasons, for your own reasons, whatever may be your reason. Any of those decisions is fine. But we bring you back to that grieving, because even, let's say, for example, that the couple chooses to work on the relationship, right? You please understand, you will not be able to pick up or continue where it ended. That chapter of that relationship is over.
Yeah.
Whatever were the reasons, acknowledgement of those reasons, yes. You learn from those mistakes so you don't repeat them, yes. But grieving the end of that is going to help you make another relationship from scratch, so to say. If that grieving of the end of that relationship doesn't happen, you cannot build a new relationship with the same person or another person based on an unhealed foundation of emotions of a relationship.
So you are trying to say here, Kausar, if I understand this correctly, what we had discussed earlier was also about how then your life comes to a standstill, because at some level you are still being that spouse or that partner in that relationship, and you're trying to make that relationship work, and it is not working, but you forget that you have to stop playing that role
That one.
also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You have to stop playing the role of the wife or the husband or the partner or the live-in partner, whatever your equation may have been. But the grieving will start when you stop living that role.
That role, exactly.
Right? That's what
Exactly.
we are getting at. So though the relationship has ended, you have tried to make it work, it will not work only and only because you're still trying to be that wife or be that husband or be that partner. You need to separate yourself from that role at this point so that you can start the grieving process. Like I said earlier, that grieving the death of a relationship or the ending of a relationship is as good or as sad or as bad as grieving for someone who has died, because that relationship is over and it has died.
Yeah.
At some level, right?
So Tashi, I'd like to take our viewers a little more deep into what we're trying to explain over here.
Yeah, because we are doing deep diving with the revive. So yeah, great, please.
Yeah. So what we're trying to explain here to you, is when the relationship ends, we're not saying, when we're highlighting grieving, we're not saying that you haven't felt the sadness. We're not saying that you haven't felt the loss, okay? But we do want to bring to your attention there is something else that we're addressing, we would like you to address about grieving.
So, Kausar, then I would like to know if, let's say, I am ending a relationship, God forbid, but if I am ending a relationship and I have signed some documents and I am leaving that relationship, yes, I am feeling sad, yes, I am feeling the loss, yes, I am feeling lonely. But isn't this sadness, this feeling of loss, this loneliness, this self-pity perhaps also, isn't all of this a part of grieving, or am I missing something here, yeah?
Yeah, so Tashi, what I'm asking, what I'm trying to highlight here is when you look back, okay, or when you're even aware of the sadness that you're feeling in that relationship, the one who is feeling sad, the one who is feeling the loss, is the one who began the relationship and stepped into the relationship to become a partner. Do you understand? The beginning point.
Right.
So that part of you before you became the partner is the one who's feeling sad. That part of you before becoming the partner is the one who's feeling the loss.
Yeah.
Okay, so when that part is of you, please listen carefully, it could be a little confusing, is feeling the loss, is feeling the sadness, but the partner who began that relationship is left in a limbo.
So you are telling me here, of course, that's what you're sharing with all of us, that if you are a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a husband or a wife, any of these roles that you have played, that relationship is now ended.
Yeah.
But you had entered that partnership as the boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, or wife.
So just, yeah.
That role that you were playing,
The partner,
the
let's call that
partner,
the becoming a
the
partner.
partner that you had become, that is the one who needs to grieve.
Yes, exactly.
That is what we are getting at. Yes.
So the
Because
individual is
that
grieving,
person, yeah, but that person has forgotten to grieve.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
Because when you're in the relationship, although you do say that you put all of you in that relationship, please understand there's a lot of you that keeps the you as an individual.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of additional things that you bring in.
Yeah.
You add to your personality, you remove from your personality,
To fit in that role of that kind of partner,
to make
whatever,
that partnership, the
work.
relationship work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you understand that? When the break happens, Tashi,
Yeah.
okay, that partner is just, it's in a state of shock. It's just left there. Because this me, is the one is like, okay, that relationship is over. It just suddenly becomes outside.
Yes, yes.
It becomes outside of you.
So
you
all
look
that
at
I had-
you only end up looking at the relationship, right?
So all that I had brought into the relationship as my role is suddenly has no value or has no.
Yeah, that's where all of that comes in, right? I could have been left feeling betrayed or abandoned or rejected. Whether you're the one who's walked away or the one left behind, there could be these kind of emotions. There could be anger, there could be sadness, there could be hopelessness, helplessness,
bitterness,
There
anger,
could be so many things,
any of
right?
these things. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
Even an acceptance that yes, even in a mutually accepted
Agreed
situation,
upon, yeah.
agreed upon, that we both agree that the relationship is not going anywhere and it's time to end it. That even when it's mutually agreed upon, when both the individuals got into a relationship and agreed that this is not going anywhere, okay, there will be a sense of loss, there will be a sense of sadness, and there'll probably be a very good friendship also that may take place, because there is a support that they're giving for whatever reason,
Yeah.
or they choose to go their own ways, fine. But these two are still left there, right? Because now imagine, where am I getting at? This partner, me, the one who got into the relationship, is stuck in a limbo. I have worked on my sadness, my loss from the one where before I got into. I'm like, okay, fine, you know what? It's all over. Fine. I've done my crying, I've done my healing, everything, right? I'm going to take a break. I'm not going to get into any relationship. I'm going to live my life. There's so many things I wanted to do. That individual comes back. The things that I couldn't do as an individual because I got so involved
In that partnership.
I do all of that. At some point, I'm like, okay, you know what? I think I don't mind getting into another relationship or whatever. And I come forward with another person. And guess who comes alive? Guess.
The unhealed one.
And that's where memories from the past relationship.
Yes. And you are
fear,
going to what Kausar is getting at now is that you are going to get into the new relationship with the baggage and the burden of the unhealed version of you, because that person never got healed. That person left that partnership for whatever reason and thought that, okay, fine, I have grieved, I've been sad, I've had a loss, whatever we've talked about. But then that person is still carrying that burden of the changes that person had gone through. Absolutely. And they are not healed. So when I get into a relationship with a new partner, I am going to carry all that baggage. And then my expectations from that new relationship will be a repetition of all that I had left behind. I thought I had left it behind, but obviously I haven't. I've carried it forward. And what is that doing? That's adding to more of the baggage that should have got healed. And why did it not get healed? Back to square one. You have not grieved. So grieving in this kind of a thing would be
like
a
bringing-
closure And how does that closure happen? By sharing. We both are, being intuitive healers that we are and soul healers that we are blessed to be. We both believe this very, very strongly, and we know it from experience as well, that it is important to share and let go. You have to shed off. You have to shed off your old skin, right? You have to shed off the dead cells of that relationship, because until you don't do that, you are not allowing yourself the space and the moments to rebuild yourself. So, this broken person that you have become is going to go into the next relationship,
Or have expectations
have
from
expectations
the
from the
new
other
person
partner.
to heal you.
Yeah, and that is a huge burden. I have seen with my clients that certain relationships are not working, and they have such huge expectations from the new partner. So they've separated from the first one.
The new checklist is based on the previous one's
previous one,
experience.
right?
The do's and don'ts
And
are
that
coming
person,
from the
and the
previous
funny
one.
thing is that the new partner has zero clue.
Yeah.
The new partner has zero clue that, oh my God, so this person is going through this, so I should be behaving like this. Listen, the new partner is not your therapist, right? Until you have a relationship, the new one with a therapist.
Not a
But-
good idea though to get into
Yeah,
a relationship
really.
with your therapist.
Yeah. So that new person is not your therapist. That person has his or her own, things to, their own baggage to carry, and their own, kind of clearances to do. Why would you hold that new relationship responsible for your past unhappiness? You have to shed off your past to be able to move into the present and then the future. Your present has to be healed if you want to move into a healed future. So, grieving is your healing process. Please don't take grieving lightly when it comes to the end of a relationship. Extremely essential. Cry about it, talk about it. Please do not play the blame game, because that puts you in a bigger mess up here in the head. No blame game. When the relationship was good, it was good. So give credit to yourself and your ex for that good that happened, the things you learned, the things you shared together, the joys you had. Remember those things more rather than the ugliness. And that is not important. The ugliness is not important, because carrying that ugliness as a taint in your personality, you will actually taint the new relationship. Isn't it so?
Yeah, absolutely. And some of the very obvious signs for you to know if there is that part of you, the partner in you that has not been healed. You could check: are you attracting the same kind of partner? Okay, or are you behaving the way you used to, like in your new
In similar situations, perhaps.
are your reactions the same? And you're wondering, okay, why is this coming up again? Because I am making such an effort to not do what I did in my previous relationship, yet how do I end up reacting in the same way? That's a big, big sign for you that it's not you, the individual, who's reacting like that, but it's the one that was in limbo who's coming up and giving you signs to get your attention, to heal, to resolve, to bring a closure, to put it at rest, which is called the grieving process.
So, another aspect of a sign or a symptom that you are not healing or you have not grieved enough is if you have broken up the relationship because of trust issues. Either you have had trust issues with the partner, therefore you kind of got out of the relationship, or you were the one who could not be trusted in the relationship, and you created a scenario where the person left you because the mistrust, something happened that makes the person not trust you. Now you may carry forward this kind of a mistrust energy in your new relationship. So what will happen is that when you are getting into that relationship, you may not trust yourself to be faithful.
Yes, please understand this
Yeah.
point that Tashi is making. You may also have trust issues with the new person, but you may also come across not being able to trust yourself. That's what you're saying, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
So you may, if you have been the one who has been unfaithful, for example, then you may go into the new relationship Yes, because if you know, a new change, a new beginning, excitement, all of that is fantastic. But the minute you feel that, oh my God, what if I am unfaithful again? Your relationship is going to then be doomed once more.
And please, again, we would like to remind, these are not very conscious things, that you have these very conscious thoughts. These are thoughts that are running in the background.
Yeah.
But they're
and they will
they're-
lead you to do
Exactly.
actions. They will lead you to do actions which may make you seem unfaithful again. And you will say, oh my God, here I go again. Again, I've done the same thing. Right? But if you had grieved for yourself, if you had closure with yourself, like Kausar said earlier, have a closure with yourself. That yes, I have been there, done that, but now I want to make a new beginning. So I am now starting from a clean slate. I have cried enough. I have played the blame game. I have, kind of hit myself over and over again. I have carried the burden of my own unfaithfulness. All that is done. When that is done, only then you are ready to move forward. And on the other hand, if your partner was the one, who was unfaithful, and you're still going into a new relationship, please, the aspect of trust is very, very important.
Very important, very
Because that can change the new equation completely again, because the person is also working hard to be a good partner to you. And just because of your old pain, your old experience, the baggage that you have brought forth now is going to create a bigger mess. Because though that person is being faithful, you are on a
Different tangent.
different tangent, and you're on this massive attack. What if I can't trust you? What if you also do what the other person did? Stop right there. Watch your words, watch your thoughts, and do not demolish something. And give it a chance to grow, guys.
Give
Give it a
yourself-
chance to and give
yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance, right? That is what we are heading to. But to do all of this, the starting point is grieve the end of a relationship before you move on. You're healed and you'll go forth in full power once more.
And if you'd like any more inputs, help, guidance, both of us are there. Take care of yourself.
Keep shining.